Like from a technology standpoint, like we know that there's certain applications that for sure need edge, but a lot of people can't articulate why edge is a priority. And then you start talking through like, well, for EV infrastructure to scale, for smart cities to become a
Of course.
reality, for all of this stuff with LLMs and AI, for sure needs better latency. But like, yeah, these are all things that there's. And if I think about on a national level, every time Congress brings Alphabet, brings Facebook, whatever, to talk about these issues, you see such a glaring lack of understanding of social media technology that's been around 10 years. How do we even begin to advance this on a national level of getting people up to speed about the kind of infrastructure and even basic grid infrastructure investments that are necessary to do this? So yeah, there's
Yeah,
a lot of need for education.
it's staggering. It's staggering that the politicians don't understand this better, right? But this is also a reflection of the population at large. So we have a big education role, and then we got to simplify it. We can't just keep throwing speeds and feeds at people and expect them to make the leap to understanding what the value prop. We can't just keep throwing um, features and not talk about the benefits that they bring, right? Because people just get lost. There's a lot of jargon, and we love to use it, but when it comes to communicating to the public and getting the public trust, as well as I think it's going to be important also in gaining customers and filling these data centers with customers. There's going to be another aspect to our communication plans, not just the power and the density and the cooling technologies and all that good stuff, but also the sustainability. What the some of those elements that come with making sure that we are a good steward of the environment, right? That are going to be essential to a lot of companies, deciding to go in a certain data center.
I think the challenge with all of this too is a lot of companies are struggling on the go to market that got them there to where we are today versus what they need going forward. And I think there's so much saturation of messaging and so much competing for people's attention that the idea of a salesperson needing to show up as a true consultant and an expert and a thought leader and a trusted advisor is very real, but it's nearly impossible to do that across several verticals simultaneously. So this is another case where the small versus the mid-size versus the enterprise. At the enterprise level, they can afford to have a whole team of domain experts that immerses themselves in healthcare communities or financial services communities or manufacturing communities to really truly show up as a domain expert. For the smaller that has 10, 20 different kinds of businesses that they work with, I don't know. How do they avoid commoditization?
Yeah, yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, yeah.
That's the challenge with all of this.
Yep. The new world. New world. Yeah.